Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, guys. Fernandes Lembo on the grid. You know, this Facebook stuff, I'm just getting the hang of it. It's pretty neat.
Isn't it cool?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what would be even more cool?
What?
If I had bought the Facebook stock about 6 years ago when it was $12. You know what it is today?
You wouldn't be sitting here if you did.
At $160.
Yeah.
So you do the math. You invest $12,000. It grows to $160,000 in about 5 years. Pretty good return.
Not bad. I don't think you'd be sitting here if that happened, though.
I wouldn't be. I'd be somewhere on an island.
All
But
right.
you know, John, this is time of the prep season where it's like in November or October in the pro season when all the sports merge together.
Yeah.
You got football, baseball, you got training camps. There's a lot of stuff going on right now.
There really is.
So let's
It's
start.
a crazy week.
Let's start with the region softball.
Sure.
Because it is tonight.
Yes.
You're going to be at Clearwater Countryside at Lakewood Ranch.
Yeah.
We got 8A, 7A, 5A. We got a 2A semifinal
Right.
on Thursday. Now, you did a very good story
Thank you.
on Bayshore pitcher Miriam Schmoll.
Yes.
I've covered her over the last couple of years. You obviously did for your story. It was a fine story.
Yeah, thank you.
I would like to ask you from maybe a fan perspective. You do the story. You go out there. You talk to the coach, and yet you don't get to cover her in her game. We have the estimable Jim Brockman covering their game. So you do the story, but you don't get to see her in action. You've seen her before, but in this kind of game.
The story
you know.
I did, I covered her at the Booker. When they,
Right.
yes,
But wouldn't
no.
you like to see her perform
I saw her
on a
twice.
bigger stage?
I saw her
Yeah.
twice last week. You know,
Right.
I mean, I love watching her pitch, but we have a lot of good softball in the area, so I don't mind. Lakewood Ranch is nationally ranked, so I'm not getting their shirt under the stick or anything.
Right.
They're a fun team to watch, too. So, no, I mean, I just like covering really good softball, where you see really good pitching, good defense, and you see that in the regional level. So, you know, no, I'm cool with that.
I mean, have you seen enough softball? I mean, like I said, we got 8A, 7A, 5A, and
Right.
we got 2A. A lot of local teams, but at this point, it's win or go home.
Yeah.
I mean, should a lot of these teams, we got Sarasota at Top and Springs East Lake. We
Right.
got Land O'Lake, Sun Lake at Braden River. Should a lot of local teams move on, or you never know it at this level?
You never know. It's interesting. Lemon Bay, who plays Bayshore, beat Bayshore 15-0 this year, but Schmoll didn't pitch in that game, so that can change tonight when she does pitch. We'll see. I mean, Lakewood Ranch, I expect them to go far. Countryside beat them last year in the regional semis. I was at that game, very tight game. 2-1 was the final score. You know, Sarasota gave Ranch a great game in the district final last week. Wouldn't be surprised to see them. You know, so yeah, I think we have a shot. I mean, I think we got some shot of teams going far. I mean, look, Bayshore has Miriam Schmoll. They're going to go as far as she takes them. Lakewood Ranch has a ton of talent, but, you know, they're going to go as far as their talent takes them. So it's going to be a fun softball, I think. You got some teams who could be in Vero in a couple of weeks.
You know, 5A3, you got Lemon Bay at Bayshore.
Yeah.
And we got Booker at DeSoto County. So
Right.
we always talk about local schools, and that's a perfect example of it right there.
We're going to see someone, because either Lemon Bay or Bayshore is going to win that one,
Right.
and if Booker wins, so we're going to see someone in the second round of the 5A Region 3. We know that for a fact.
So we got a lot of softball going forward. Let's just jump to spring football, only because I think we ran a first photo gallery about Manatee a couple of days ago on htpreps.com. Just talk about spring football. Is there anything, we keep on asking about the Manatee, is there anything new to update on that? Are they still sorting through resumes up there?
Yeah, I think they're coming close to naming some finalists. Nothing new there, but you know, spring football is it's a bit of a strange animal. You know, you had the story about Brian Gagg going to Braden River when that first happened. So we'll see how that goes. You know, obviously, don't forget a lot of kids who play football run track.
Right.
So a lot of these kids, you know, really aren't there. They're running track, and a couple of key players for St. Stephen's are running track, Manatee are running track. So, you know, it might be a while. The games, I believe, start next weekend, though. So, you know, spring football is almost over. It began the 24th. It began, so a little earlier this year with that allowable day. So, yeah, but spring football, it's good to see the guys out there again. But obviously, we got playoffs and softball and baseball and track state championships this weekend here in Bradenton. Spring football isn't, to me, the huge story right now. It's more the spring sports.
It is, and as we've talked about before, a lot of times the teams you see in the spring or the rosters aren't the same 3 or 4 months later in the fall.
Exactly.
So let's stay on football, because we had the NFL draft, and I did a story about the four players going. You know, the first couple of days we saw Forrest Lamp. He went out to the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah.
We had Marlon Mack, who got drafted by the Indianapolis Colts. But in the last couple of days, the couple of guys that weren't drafted, Ezra Robinson, both Booker guys, got signed as a free agent by Jacksonville, and Ricky Jones Jr., the wide receiver out of Indiana, was signed by the Saints. So basically, all four guys will be in training camp somewhere.
And let's not forget Brian Poole, undrafted free agent last year by the Falcons, and played in the Super Bowl, had a huge year. So, and he even tweeted it out after the draft, kind of the effect of, if you haven't been drafted, don't worry about it. He would know. So that's proof that even if you weren't drafted, if a team signs you as a free agent, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, my Patriots signed 17 free agents, and usually there's one or two guys that they manage to get talent out of, to extract talent out of.
Yeah, they see something in you.
You know, this football is played well in so many different areas of the country that usually, even in the smallest programs, there's one stud who can compete on the next level. So that's what we like to look for.
Definitely, yeah. And again, I mean, wish all four of those guys luck. You know, happy for Forrest and Merle when they get drafted, and hopefully the other two guys make some hay with the teams that sign them.
Well, let's move on to baseball. We'll talk about softball coming up tonight. But tomorrow night, we got district baseball. We got 8 teams basically advancing, because we know at this level, all the teams go on. Yeah. Sarasota Lakewood Ranch. It seems like these two teams always hook up in different sports.
You always say that when they play.
19-9 and 15, because every time we talk, it seems like it's these two teams matched up in some sport.
Should be a good one. Both teams won with some ease in the semifinals. Even though I was at the Palmetto Ranch game last night, it was 1-0 Palmetto for 3 innings, and then Ranch bats came alive. But it should be interesting. Pablo Garabitos getting the ball on full rest for Lakewood Ranch on Thursday, so we'll see how that pans out. I thought last year's game would be really good, and Sarasota Mercy ruled them in 5 innings. So, you know, but I think it should be a good, clean game, a lot of fun, and a lot of good games tomorrow night.
Actually, Sarasota won twice during the regular season, so you might think they have the advantage going in. But
Palmetto won twice against Ranch in regular season, and Ranch beat them last night, so it's, you know.
Talk about defeating a team 3 times. I was at 9A8 Riverview at Tampa Newsome. Riverview had defeated them twice during the regular season. And this game, they lose 2-1, so they're knocked out.
Yeah, baseball's one of those sports. I mean, all it takes is, you know, a ball hits a rock, guy makes an error, pitch doesn't go your way. Who knows?
7A11, we got Venice hosting Charlotte on Thursday night for the title. Venice at 27. They beat Northport 4-0. Again, we talk about a guy we always mention, Caleb Williams, a complete game shutout. You know, we're going to see that guy in professional baseball. I've seen him enough pitching now to say that this guy is projected as a professional guy.
You think so?
I think so.
I think he's really good.
I think he's real good.
We'll see,
Yeah. In 5A11, we got Bayshore hosting Southeast.
Southeast,
big win over St. Pete Lakewood. Top seeded St. Pete Lakewood. What kind of a win could that do to the Southeast program?
It's huge. They're playing for a title. They're good. They're moving on. I mean, that's definitely good stuff for them and Bayshore. A couple of programs that have been kind of in a bit of a lag the last couple of years, so good for them that one of them gets to hoist a trophy. Always good to see 2 Bradenton teams, 2 Sarasota teams, whatever, you know, in the district final. That means the trophy stays here, whether who gets it. So, yeah, it should be good for both teams, especially Southeast. Huge win. There a few years ago, that team didn't win a game. This is going back a while. And that's where they were. Now you got Michael Suki, who's a AA player with the Pirates. And now they won a big game against Lakewood. So, yeah, good for Southeast Seminoles baseball.
And I think we got to say the classic cliche here that they're so sky high for that win. Now they got to come back to earth and play a Bayshore team. They just can't figure, okay, we beat the top seeded Lakewood, and this made our season. They
the one nice thing I always know is the district championship games don't have that win or go home thing, because you know you're moving on. So, yeah, you want to win your district championship, you know you're guaranteed 2 more games. So if you kind of have that feeling, it's say, let's just go out, and if we win, we're home, and we win a trophy, and if not, we know we play anyway next week.
7A9. Braden River is at Brandon Thursday night. In the paper, we hadn't had the winner of their game. Who are they playing? Do you know who they're playing at?
Not sure. As of now.
They're playing at Brandon High School. They could be playing Brandon at Brandon.
No, that's one of those things where they don't have a satellites for their districts. It's just one host. The old school way they used to do it around here. So they're up there. They're the top seed, I think. So we can see a lot of local champions tomorrow night.
And one more 4A12, Cardinal Mooney 17-8-1 at host Bishop Verot on Friday. That's the other
Mooney
one.
Always a good program too.
I'd like to see all these teams advance from this point on, but as I was talking about it, in any sport, the difficulty level really picks up when you're talking about regionals and even the district finals. I'll be having a story coming out tomorrow night or tomorrow.
We got track and field.
State track and field at IMG this weekend,
here in Bradenton.
and you will be there.
Me and Dennis Maffezoli. A lot of great Friday and Saturday. A lot of great teams. I mean, there's so many people to watch. Lakewood Ranch, Sophia Falco. She won 4 district and regional championships. Manatees 4x1 relay team trying to win a 3rd straight state championship. St. Stephen's boys, the team, won district and regional team titles. They're really good. Sarasota's field athlete, Jaisal Torres, having a great year. Sam Jackson, Lakewood Ranch, a thrower. So many great athletes locally will be at IMG Friday and Saturday. It should be a great state meet.
You're just a name dropper. You just drop names all over the place. You know what?
It's kind of what we do.
Really?
You got to put names in.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah. What I remember about last year's tournament is people complaining complaining about the parking, because if you've ever been out to IMG, ladies and gentlemen, to get there's a back road. I think it's called Nick Bollettieri Drive.
Boulevard, I think.
Yeah, I think it's more like a cul-de-sac because the traffic builds up there like you wouldn't believe. Right. And a lot of people complained about how can they not have better preparedness going into a state meet.
They claim they fixed it this year. I hope they have. Right. I was in that muck the first day. There was the famous picture of kids running to make their events,
to make their events,
with their shoes in their hands.
Right.
Hopefully they avoid all that this year. But other than that, it was a really good meet. The meet itself was well run last year. It was quick. It was efficient. Hopefully they fix that parking snafu, and we'll see.
You know, I have a story coming out tomorrow. Booker High School hired a new wrestling coach, and it's a female.
Wow.
Lisa Lyon. I looked around the area, checked out. There's only been a couple of coaches in St. Pete, Lakeland area, a female coach. Nobody down here for at least as long as I've been down here. So she takes over a program that, you know, they advance one guy to state under Coach Pitts. They did for about 10 years. Her background is jiu-jitsu. So we really should see how the kids take to her. She was an assistant. Now she's the head coach. So good for her.
Definitely good for the program. Good for the area.
Good for the program out there.
And good for the sport.
So what do we got looking forward? Obviously, we got softball, we got baseball, we got track we can talk about next week. We got spring games coming up. Just a cornucopia of things.
Keeps rolling.
Keeps rolling.
May 23rd, the Best of HT Preps banquet at Robarts Arena. To purchase tickets, htpreps.com/best. Derek Brooks will be there.
Derek Brooks will be there. I have to submit a list of questions. If you had one question to ask Mr. Brooks, what do you think it would be? Besides his autograph, what would you ask for? What would you ask him?
Did you really like Warren Sapp?
Yeah, give us the dirt on Sapp. Well, remember, this is before 17-year-old kids, so we can't go too overboard.
Well, I'm sure you can do it in a clean way.
I'd say, what influence did, you had Sam Weish for a year, what influence did Tony Dungy have on your career?
Or Sam Weish.
Or Sam, your career was going this way, and Tony brought it up this way. So that's next month at Robarts Arena. So I'll talk about
it's this month, May 23rd.
Yeah, May 23rd. We're already in May. I'm getting old here.
You are.
So we got all that stuff. So listen for next week. John Lembo, Doug Fernandez. We'll see you next week on the Grid.